NASCAR's most feared track. I don't know a lot about NASCAR, but I would like to learn. So let's check it out.
Legend has it that the Muskogee Indians used to race horses at Dry Valley in what is now northern Alabama. The natives referred to the region as Talladega, or border town. Eventually, as American colonists began to settle the surrounding lands, the border of the Native American territory gradually began to shrink.
Aww.
By 1813, Talladega had become a battleground as the Muskogee erupted in civil war. The Talladega natives remained loyal to the Americans and helped General Andrew Jackson.
Me and the homies hate Andrew Jackson. Thumbs down.
Defeat the Red Sticks, an opposing faction who were fighting to preserve the sovereignty of the Indian Territory. In 1830, President Andrew Jackson would repay the favor by ordering the removal of all indigenous tribes.
See? I tried to tell you. I tried to say thumbs down early, but nobody wanted to listen, and I got capital D colon to death.
From the southern United States. Disgraced by their compatriots and betrayed by their American allies, the Talladega Indians abandoned their ancestral lands, never to return. According to legend, as the tribe gazed over Dry Valley for the final time, the shaman cursed the land and all of its future intruders to be struck with misfortune.
Well, that's not good.
130 years later, the president of NASCAR is looking for a new site to construct his most ambitious racetrack yet.
You know what? How about we build that on the cursed land? My God! Why didn't I think of that?
After failing to secure a venue in Raleigh or Greenville, Bill France set his sights on a secluded valley in northern Alabama. The town of Talladega was chosen as the location of NASCAR's biggest superspeedway, where, rather than horses, men would race 2-ton hunks of metal at triple-digit speeds. Bill France probably never knew about the curse. Hardly anyone did. But soon enough, in one way or another, all of NASCAR would learn to fear Talladega.
I'm already scared.
Oh, not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Here we go again, boys. I don't know. That was ugly. Lead the Toyota.
This is the scariest 3D movie I've ever seen. Actually, they should make a NASCAR movie and then put it in the theaters that have the 4D seats that like move around and like jump all over the place and they like squirt the water on you. They could squirt oil in your face. You could like be in the car. That would be awesome.
New leader. Been waiting all day to say this. It's Ricky Bobby. And it's shaking.
He's real. He's real. I tried to tell you guys before. I thought Ricky Bobby was fake. He's a real man. I thought he was a character. And then I remember when they were like, I've drank so much Mountain Dew, I'm like a spider monkey.
The inaugural running of a NASCAR race can be something truly special. The first Daytona 500 in 1959 immediately cemented the race as NASCAR's most prestigious event.
Wow, and a
NASCAR's
dollar.
first race at Indianapolis in 1994 was such a spectacle that it attracted more entrants than any other event in the history of the sport.
Whoa.
Talladega's inaugural race was also a spectacle, but not for the right.
Habs, thank you for continuing your gift song, giving it a great feed in the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Reason. Talladega's inaugural race was also a spectacle, but not for the right reasons.
Oh.
Hey, I'm Slapshoes, and this is an abridged
We know that guy! Hi, Slapshoes!
version of my video on what is widely considered to be the worst NASCAR race in history, which was the very first race ever held at Talladega. If you want all the nitty-gritty details, the link to the full video is in the description. To say that Talladega's very first event was controversial would be a massive understatement.
Really?
It was unlike any other race ever held in NASCAR history, and for all the wrong reasons. First, the track was completed dangerously close to opening weekend by design. Bill France had gone into serious debt trying to build this place, and he needs his money back as soon as possible.
I gotta pay back that damn bank before they take every cent I own.
In August, just a month before race day, Talladega holds its very first tests. And despite topping out at 195 miles per hour, the drivers showed concern very early on. Donnie Allison, a multi-time winner in NASCAR's top division, said, "The track is as rough as a cob. It'd be a beautiful track if it were smooth. The only way they're going to fix it is to repave it."
Dude, the paving is bad? Isn't the road step one if you're making a racetrack? Where did they spend all the money? Concessions?
Meanwhile, Kel Yarbrough noticed that his tires were shredded after just a dozen laps on the track. He
That is balder than my mods.
also noted lots of bumps in the turns. Not exactly something you want to navigate when you're pushing 200 miles an hour in what passed for safety equipment back in the 1960s. NASCAR's two tire manufacturers, Goodyear and Firestone, take note of the tire wear and vow to come back with harder tires to compensate.
Dang.
The first open practice for all teams happens in September on the Wednesday just before the race on Sunday. And that tire issue is not resolved. Guys are
Really?
noticing chunks of rubber coming off the tires after just a few laps. Goodyear and Firestone fly in harder compounds on Thursday and Friday, but nothing works. Drivers are getting uppity, and by Friday, Firestone backs out, citing safety concerns.
Wow. They did not want to be involved in all this drama and mess. This is insane. Like, the way things were done back in the day is just nuts. They're like, well, we gotta open. I mean, what else are the people gonna do in Alabama? Start kissing each other? They gotta watch something.
The drivers, who just mere weeks ago formed the Professional Drivers Association, a union-like organization, are talking openly of a potential walkout. And the president of the PDA,
Whoa.
Richard Petty, the winningest NASCAR driver in history, is in some tense negotiations with Bill France.
Yeah, that
but
was
the straw that
tense.
broke the camel's back was one exchange between France and Bobby Allison, who won the most recent race just last week. France says to Bobby, quote, "I think you're just afraid to race."
Oh! Dude, man drama goes hard. It's like when a girl tells me, oh, your nails are cute.
Bobby was taken aback, but it was the quiet Leroy Yarbrough who stepped up from behind him and swung and hit Bill France in the face, knocking him to the ground.
What?
Leroy then calmly said to everybody watching,
What is the meme I'm thinking of where they're like blank calmly said? Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, Dumbledore said calmly.
"Boys, pack up your stuff. We're leaving." And just like that,
Ooh.
almost every single driver put their cars back on the hauler and left the track, save for 3 holdouts.
Dang.
One, Bobby Isaac, a soft-spoken man who never joined the PDA just because he didn't like the idea of anybody speaking on his behalf. 2, a non-PDA driver named Jim Vandiver driving a car owned by Ray Fox. And 3, a young up-and-comer named Richard Brickhouse. Richard made his very first
Brickhouse.
NASCAR top division start ever just last year at Rockingham. And despite that being his first race on a paved track, he finished 4th.
Wow.
Brickhouse is a PDA driver and plans to walk, but the Dodge factory team pulls him aside and offers him a new ride, the brand new Dodge Charger Daytona.
Ooh, look at that though. This is some Beam NG shit. I kind of want to drive that around.
A winged supercar supposedly capable of speeds exceeding 200 miles an hour. But this weekend, it won't happen. The tires just can't take it. Brickhouse agrees to the deal and turns scab, leaving the PDA that afternoon. So there it is, a 500-mile race at a 2.66-mile track with just 3 cars in the mix.
Okay, this is what we do to save the moment. Get rid of the cars. Bring out girls dressed as Uma Musume and make them run around the track, and then everybody bets on the race. Then he'll get his money back.
Bill France offers fans a special deal. If you buy a ticket for the inaugural race at Talladega, you can use that stub to get into the Daytona 500 next year. With a 2-for-1 special that good, people turned out in droves to watch the shit show down in Alabama.
All it takes is a BOGO? A Groupon?
But Big Bill has one more trick up his sleeve to make the race just a little less ridiculous. He poaches drivers from the preliminary race on Saturday, the Grand American Series, who race smaller pony cars on the infield road course, not the big track. Instead of Chargers, Chevelles, Torinos, and Roadrunners, they race Camaros, Mustangs, Darts, and even one AMC Javelin. These cars were never intended to drive on a track this big, and they can barely do 160 miles an hour with the wind at their backs. Not to mention, there's no way they could pass tech inspection. These are cars from a completely different series. So, Big Bill France calls an audible and just changes the minimum speed requirements and the inspection templates.
What?
All with just a simple wave of the hand. And just in case...
Is he playing on creative mode? Dude, he is the worst server owner of all time.
Any driver is thinking of backing out, he offers cash bonuses just to roll off the grid on top of the already stated winnings purse.
Oh
but with
my
so much tension
God.
looming in the air over this slapdash ramshackle affair of a race, the stage is set for a disaster to occur, and it does, but not in the way anybody expected.
Can this not be extremely dangerous for the drivers, but also the spectators? Like, this is so unregulated that a lot of people in the crowd who are super close could get really hurt.
That tire issue is resolved at the 11th hour when Goodyear flies in their last Hail Mary, and those tires finally held up. There wasn't a single tire failure that day. No, what did this race in was one of my favorite parts of old NASCAR racing, the scoring error. Electronic transponders and timing and scoring didn't exist yet, so officials would move placards around on a desk to keep track of all the cars. If the officials agreed on the running order, then it was final, but every once in a while they'd get it wrong. Well, that happened in this race. That's right, with only 3 cars even being competitive, NASCAR still lost track of Jim Vandiver and Richard Brickhouse, the 2 guys competing for the lead. Bobby Isaac was taking it easy, just worrying about finishing so he...
So, like, back in the day, you just had to, like, trust the refs, right? Because they couldn't, like, watch cameras and stuff. And I think about this when I watch basketball, too. Like, you just have to be like, okay, well, yep, I mean, I trust him.
competing for the lead. Bobby Isaac was taking it easy, just worrying about finishing so he could have some easy points to make a run at the championship with all the competition sitting at home. Richard Brickhouse has declared the winner.
Oh my God! Maybe I should start competing. This is what happens when you win? My man!
By NASCAR officials, but Jim Vandiver and his car owner Ray Fox are adamant that they've won. And even
oh, they're celebrating because they thought they won? There's no way this ends bad.
Radio call with 2-time Cup Series champion Ned Jarrett in the booth thought Jim Vandiver was in the lead. And I think it's worth noting that Jim was driving the older model of Dodge Charger and was not affiliated with Chrysler Corp. Meanwhile, Brickhouse was driving the Dodge factory entry, and it was the first race ever for their new winged wonder car. Rumors persist that the scoring error was not an accident, and Chrysler executives sweet-talked Bill France into manipulating the finish of the race.
This is more drama than 90 Day Fiancé! I feel like I'm watching TLC!
After all, they kept some of the intrigue for the event by making a big deal about their new car. A lot of people in attendance bought a ticket just because they wanted to see that new Daytona rip around the track at nearly 200 miles an hour. Richard Brickhouse's win stands, and he is absolutely elated with his first career Cup Series win, and is so sure that he'll be tapped to drive the car full-time next year that he uses his winnings to buy a brand new airplane for himself.
Guys, if I win the Streamer Awards, I'm buying everybody in chat an airplane. Check under your seat.
But unfortunately, he never got the call from Chrysler, or any team for that matter. In a year's time, he was semi-retired and only racing a few times per year. So there it was, a disaster of a race made up mostly of field fillers, a tire scandal resolved at the last possible second, a brand new supercar that nobody got to see the full potential of, and of those 2 competitive cars out there on the track, they were driven by 2 guys nobody had ever heard of, and we're not even sure which one of them actually won the race. If this isn't the worst race in NASCAR history, then I really don't know what will.
So ends the tale of NASCAR's most disastrous inaugural race, and so begins the tale of the Talladega curse.
Well, that's not good. It gets worse than that? There's more?
Over the next half-century, Talladega Superspeedway would play host to some of the strangest, unexplainable, and harrowing occurrences to ever afflict the sport of stock car racing.
It was so bad that they actually activated a JoJo stand to speed up time?
The earliest races at the track are possibly the most mysterious. They existed in a time before NASCAR was frequently televised, and most of the footage from this era is either missing or not publicly available.
Really?
For many incidents during this time, only the stories remain, leaving the rest up to our imagination. The Talladega woes would continue in 1973, which may have been the most tumultuous single year in the history of the track.
Did someone
that
die?
Year's Winston 500 earned the dubious distinction as the only race in NASCAR's modern era to start with a field of 60 cars, a decision that would immediately backfire on the...
Oh my God. they should have looked at the new Mario Kart. Nobody likes racing with extra cars. It's boring.
Ninth lap when one car blew an engine and spilled a trail of oil in front of the supersized field. Drivers were instantly sent spinning across the infield grass, kicking up a cloud of smoke and dust that made many wrecked cars impossible to see.
Oh my god, they
When
can't
the dust
rescue
settled,
people!
23 drivers had piled into the wreckage, and the Talladega backstretch now resembled the set of a Mad Max film.
Oh my
Multiple
god.
drivers suffered severe injuries, including longtime driver Wendell Scott, who was so badly wounded that he was practically forced into retirement.
What?
It was an outright miracle that no one died that day. The following race at Talladega would not be so fortunate.
Oh my god. You know the people running is like, well, nobody died. Success. And they didn't learn anything!
Just 3 months later,
I know that
teams
sound.
and drivers would have to pick up the pieces and run it back in the Talladega 500. On lap 13, defending Rookie of the Year Larry Smith struck the turn 1 wall in a single-car incident. Hours later, fans and crew members were shocked to discover that Smith had tragically become Talladega's first fatality.
Oh my god!
Commentator Ken Squire was perplexed as the accident
He
looked
looks
nowhere
it!
close to deadly. Smith's fatality was unbeknownst to competitor Bobby Isaac, who would go on to do something even more inexplicable later in the day.
What?
Midway through the race, the 1970 champion would impulsively pull his car into the pits. It was at that moment, in the middle of the race, that Bobby Isaac decided to retire from full-time racing.
Whoa!
Media outlets
You can do that? You can just quit in a race? Whoa.
at the time reported that Isaac heard a voice in his head which told him to stop racing immediately.
Is it the curse? The curse can go inside of your brain.
After missing the rest of the 1973 season, Isaac would periodically return to the track for a handful of races per year. In 1977, the 45-year-old driver collapsed while exiting his race car and would be pronounced dead the next day from cardiac arrest.
Dude, no shot. Is this not insane?
At the time, Isaac held the NASCAR record for the fastest lap at Talladega, which he set in 1970. In 1975, racing legend Mark Donohue ran a time trial lap at Talladega with an average speed of 221 miles per hour.
Actually, this is just kind of a fun question, I'm sorry. Can anybody do like a time trial? Or I guess, is it like an event? Do they get a bunch of racers to race around and then whoever goes the fastest wins? That seems kind of fun to watch. Do they do that still? Only Gran Turismo. If you have the money, yes. If organized? That seems kind of fun. It's like Crash Bandicoot. Did they put a bunch of crates in the track too and you can run them over?
Setting a closed circuit world record. Days later, Donohue was fatally wounded from a crash while practicing for the Austrian Grand Prix.
Oh my
On
god!
nearly the same day as Donohue's accident, beloved
What?
NASCAR driver Tiny Lund was struck and killed after another car collided with his driver's side door on the Talladega backstretch. In less than
How many people died on this track? I thought it was over, but it just keeps coming.
a decade of operation, Talladega Superspeedway had already been directly or indirectly linked to the deaths of 4 drivers.
Okay, my question is, why did nobody step in? Why are they not being shut down or having like safety regulations where somebody comes out and says this track is not safe?
However, following the death of Tiny Lund, the Speedway spirits will look more kindly on the track's active competitors. To this day, Tiny Lund remains the last driver to lose his life in a NASCAR race at Talladega.
Oh.
While drivers would remarkably be spared on the track, there were never any guarantees inside of it. During the 1975 Winston 500, Richard Petty's car caught fire in the pits.
Whoa.
As Petty's brother-in-law Randy Owens rushed to douse the flames with a fire hose, the nearby pressurized water tank exploded,
What?
launching Owens 15 feet in the air and killing him instantly.
Okay. I am not a superstitious person, but is this not a curse? Like, this is insane. How often does that happen?
In 1977, veteran driver David Sisko was competing at Talladega when he was greeted by a terrible sight in the infield. His mother had been struck and killed by a pickup truck near the garage area. Sisko was apparently so devastated that he would never attempt another NASCAR race.
Oh my
Unbelievably, this
god!
wouldn't be the last pickup truck-related death at
I'm sorry.
Talladega. In
That just shocked me.
1996, the president of ARCA was T-boned in the parking lot and would later go on to die from his injuries.
Oh my
Along with
god!
its string of inexplicable tragedy, the early days of Talladega also housed some of the most bizarre mysteries that stock car racing has ever known.
This is
On the morning
haunted.
of the 1974 Talladega 500, crew members awoke to an unnerving development.
What?
The race cars of nearly a dozen drivers had been sabotaged. Teams inspected
Whoa. I didn't think about that. You could go and just rub butter all over somebody's wheels or like their steering wheel or like, I don't know, slice the tires. That probably made more sense than the butter. I don't know why my brain went to that.
their vehicles and discovered slashed tires, cut oil lines, and gas tanks filled with sand.
Oh! So that's why people have pocket sand? To attack gas tanks?
The extent of the sabotage was only fully realized during the race, as many drivers began experiencing mechanical failures as soon as they hit the track.
Jeez, are there not security? Like, are there people not watching the cars?
Miraculously, no drivers were injured in the fiasco, but sabotaging so many race cars at a track as fast as Talladega was practically attempted mass murder.
Yeah.
Authorities launched an immediate investigation to find the perpetrator, but were
Honestly, that was a sad chat message. Somebody said, it's back when people trusted each other. It's sad, but it's true.
unable to identify even a single suspect. Whoever sabotaged the cars did not leave a trace of evidence, and to this day,
Wow.
the Talladega tamperer remains at large.
Talladega tamperer. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good nickname. I always think that you always have to try to find like the greatest name for somebody who commits a crime. Talladega tamperer. Or maybe like, the Talladega... My brain like immediately went to toe sucker, but that had nothing to do with this. Yeah, never mind.
Following the worst vehicular sabotage in NASCAR history, the track amped up security
No, not the Talladega toucher. Okay, do not let him cook. Do not let him cook.
for future events. And while they succeeded at keeping future delinquents out of the garage, they didn't think to check whether one could wind up behind the wheel.
Oh.
Prior to the 1982 Winston 500, a few drivers expressed confusion at an unfamiliar name on the entry list for the race. A man
BerryCrepe.
by the name of L.W. Wright had purchased a race car for $20,000, which he entered in that week's race at Talladega. Despite claiming to be a seasoned stock car racing veteran, no other driver had ever heard of him. However, in an age before detailed record keeping, it was somewhat plausible that a driver could have honed their skills in some middle-of-nowhere town.
Yeah.
The mysterious driver managed to qualify for the race despite wrecking his car on just the second lap around the track.
What?
As the crew was
That's fine? Can you imagine you go to a bakery and you figure out that the second thing that baker ever made was an apple pie with extra cyanide by accident? Yeah, he's qualified. Let him bake.
preparing the car for race day, Wright seemed unable to answer basic questions that any driver should have known. Suspicion aside, Wright managed to line up for Sunday's race and take the green flag. Immediately, it was clear that the number 34 Chevrolet was dangerously off the pace. Wright
Wow.
was quickly lapped by the leaders and was ordered by NASCAR to retire from the race.
Jeez, wait, you can tell people to FF? I didn't know that. Also, do people get lapped often or is that rare? I don't really watch a lot of NASCAR. Does that rarely happen or it happens a lot? Oh, it's called a black flag. Oh, they Assassin's Creeded him? And it's often that people get lapped? Or it's rare? Oh, okay, wait. People do get lapped, but it is rare. Okay.
So L.W. Wright again given the black flag as he passes by us, and Wright has been ordered to the pit area.
Uh-oh,
After
he's in
pulling into
trouble.
the pits, Wright got out of his car, slipped into the infield, and was never seen again.
Ooh.
It turned out that L.W. Wright was an imposter and had
He was sus?
conned investors out of nearly $50,000 so that he could race alongside NASCAR's biggest stars. To this
Oh, he was just a man with a dream.
day, the true identity of L.W. Wright remains unknown.
Ooh, he is DB Cooper.
His alias persists as one name in the NASCAR record books that may always be shrouded in mystery.
Ooh,
After letting
that
what
was kind of
essentially
cool.
an average Joe mess around in a sanctioned professional sporting event, NASCAR would tighten up their standards for who exactly was allowed on the track.
I mean, honestly, this does just kind of help the narrative that if you're confident and you show up somewhere, like maybe you show up in a construction site with wearing like a vest, you can get away with a lot. Like, life is 90% confidence.
However, while paying more scrutiny to the drivers in the race cars, there was one other car they forgot about.
Ooh. Oh! I can get that out.
There was one other car they forgot about.
Well, the pace car, we understand, has been stolen. The officials are not driving this thing, and somebody has actually gotten in the pace car and stole it.
Okay. I'm gonna need some explanation here just because I'm an idiot. If he is in front of you, does that mean you lose? Like, basically, he's the back of the pack. And if you fall behind the back, then you're done? Is that how that works? Oh, wait, you stay behind them. Okay, so they're in the front. So you're not allowed to pass them. So is the pace car just like super souped up, like NASA specs? How is he in front of the other cars? How is he that fast? Everybody follows it. It's a referee car. They lead when there is a speed limit. Oh, okay. So eventually, does he leave? Everyone has to slow down. Okay, so it's like, is it like a safety thing? Oh, it's safety mostly. Okay, so people aren't just going crazy. So, not to be nuts to butts, but like, I thought there were like restrictor plates or whatever. We were talking about that the last time we watched one of these videos. Did the pace car eventually get phased out for like restrictor plates? If there's an accident or something, he enters the track. Oh, okay, wait, they still use the pace car. Okay. Wow, this is so interesting. I feel like I'm actually learning how to drive. I probably should have learned that when I got my license.
At the 1986 Winston 500, 20-year-old Darren Crowder stole the pace car that had been left unoccupied on pit.
Guys, after the Talladega terrorists, they didn't think to watch these things? Where are the security guards? Is this TwitchCon?
Road. He completed a full circuit at over 100 miles per hour before the
Jeez.
police set up a blockade and took him into custody. During the whole bewildering spectacle, the crowd of 133,000 fans cheered wildly.
Woo!
Growing up, we're all
Well, I mean, I kind of get it, right? It's like watching a streaker. Like, I'm not looking at his wiener. I'm just celebrating that he did it.
told to respect the law of the land, but sometimes you just gotta root for the rebel.
Yeah! Dang! Wait, this got real really fast. Oh my god, that edit actually made my stomach drop.
Indians were forced to vacate their lands.
my
Most
God!
obeyed the order and subjected themselves to the infamous Trail of Tears.
Oh.
Some of the natives, however, refused to go west to the Indian Territory and instead chose to keep their destiny in their own hands. A few Muskogee
This video's gonna make me cry. That was like actually a crazy edit. I'm sorry, I'm such a baby.
turned their sights instead towards the south, in the mostly uninhabited territory of Florida.
And it should stay uninhabited. I'm gonna be honest with you, I live here and it sucks balls.
Subtropical peninsula had become known as a safe haven for refugees of the expanding American empire. Together with various other displaced natives and escaped African slaves, the remnants of the Muskogee would integrate into a new tribe, the Seminole.
Oh.
Although they too
Wait! Isn't that a place in Florida? Wait 1 second. I'm actually just learning Florida history. I literally am. I had no idea. All they taught me because I grew up in Texas, they taught me Texas history. But now I have Florida lore and the Alamo. Wow.
Were forced to abandon their way of life like all the others. At the very least, for the time being, they were free.
Aww. Whoa.
In 1819, Spain ceded the Florida territory to the
They
United
did?
States. And
I don't know anything about history.
concerns of relocation immediately returned. Although the Seminole briefly received a reservation on the peninsula, it wouldn't be long until the federal government once again demanded they move out west.
Oh my god!
After already sacrificing so much, the Seminole refused to budge. And after Chief Osceola shot and killed Federal Agent Wiley Thompson, they found themselves at war with the might of the U.S. military. As the American troops marched into Florida, the Seminole warriors would soon be outnumbered by as much as 10 to 1. Needless to say, they were heavy underdogs.
If Allison is going to make a move, he's going to have to do it now. He cannot do it. Bill Parsons is going to
Wow, dude, this video is a roller coaster. Now we're back to driving, but it's gonna be about the underdogs of Talladega. Holy crap!
First Winston Cup race, there's the checkered flag.
Talladega Superspeedway has always been unusually favorable to underdogs. The relative ease with which drivers can navigate the track opens the door for the occasional David to contend with NASCAR's Goliath. In addition to the fluke win of Richard Brickhouse in the inaugural race, 5 other drivers would score their one and only career victory in the first 20 years of competition at Talladega, by far the most of any track in the sport. In the early days of the track, winning at Talladega was a matter of endurance. Completing 500 miles at the longest circuit in the sport was a daunting task for even the most dominant race teams.
How long does this normally take? Like, not like I'm trying to leave or nothing, but I was just wondering how long an actual, like, racing match here is. Because 500 miles is a lot. How long does that take? About 2 hours? Okay, so it's kind of like a movie. Okay, but then we got 4 to 5. Okay, so like 4 hours. I'm gonna be eating a lot of hot dogs. I get hungry in 4 hours.
Putting yourself in position to win was often as simple as overcoming the attrition of your competitors. Eventually, most teams figured out how to make their machines go the distance, and the name of the game shifted to speed.
Ooh, let's go! Okay, but this is also gonna be probably pretty dangerous. This is where it's gonna go absolutely nuts.
In spite of its many trials and tribulations, Talladega Superspeedway has always managed to draw in fans for one simple reason. There's no other place on Earth where you can witness so many cars go so fast.
Yeah.
The track's 33-degree corners allow drivers to maintain incredible momentum throughout the circuit. Talladega may be the only track in all of racing where you can complete an entire lap without ever touching the brake pedal.
Whoa!
The colossal oval is capable of producing such extreme speeds that most motorsports don't feel comfortable racing on it. In 1980, IndyCar had plans for a Talladega race.
Oh, okay, so like this is the 80s, right? They're gonna like keep pushing the technology and keep trying to go faster and faster and faster because there's probably a lot of places you could implement a lot of speed. So I see how this would be entertaining to watch because you can just see like how far the technology has progressed since the last time you saw a race.
They would soon scrap the idea forever after it became clear that the cars would be moving so fast that any accident essentially meant certain death.
Yeah.
Stock cars are considerably slower than open-wheel cars, but soon enough, they too would begin approaching the danger zone. Bobby Isaac managed to break the 200-mile-per-hour barrier as early as 1970. But rule changes to the cars brought speeds down to the 180s for most of the decade.
Yeah.
Gradually, though, speeds began to creep back up, and in 1982, Benny Parsons would once again reach 200, becoming the first NASCAR driver to eclipse the mark in a qualifying lap. 1 year later, Cale Yarborough would reach 202, surpassing Bobby Isaac's 13-year-old record.
This is like a speed running video where they just go back and forth and start trading the record. And then the speed running narrator goes, I was the person running this.
1985 would mark the arrival of the fastest man in NASCAR history, Bill Elliott, who would qualify for the Winston 500 with a monster lap of 209 miles per hour. Elliott's car was so much faster than the competition that after a ruptured oil pump forced him into the pits, Elliott would overcome a 5-mile deficit under green to retake the lead by the end of the race. Even after burning several minutes on pit road, Elliott had just ran the fastest race in NASCAR history.
So I have a question about this too. So if you go into the pit, you're basically like going for a red split at that point. Like you're taking a time loss. So how often do you really have to go? Like I see how that could also be dangerous because you'd want to keep pushing it to where you don't have to take a break. Huh. I don't know actually. Or you have to like hire people who are really good about doing that kind of stuff when necessary. Is it up to the driver? Like, do they feel when their car needs to take a break, or do they have like maybe like a coach or somebody in their ear who's like, hey, you gotta take a break. Like your tires are looking like shit. Oh, it's up to the chief? Oh, it's a little bit of both. They have an engineer. Oh, okay.
Completing 500 miles in just over 2 hours and 41 minutes. 2 years later,
Wow.
Bill Elliott would complete a 2 2/3 mile lap at Talladega in under 45 seconds, setting an average speed of 212.8 miles per hour. It was at this point that the entire sport of stock car racing would discover that they had ventured too far into unwelcome territory.
Oh my god, back to the transition. Okay, never mind. Sorry.
Talladega, it means speed, it means competition, and speed's certainly something we've seen a lot of this weekend, Larry.
8 drivers exceeded 210 miles per hour.
The identical front row as last year, Bill Elliott on the pole and Bobby Allison alongside.
Bobby Allison spent a brief period as NASCAR's most popular driver, and at Talladega, the Alabama-born racing legend was always a fan favorite.
Oh, okay, so the track is in Alabama, and he's from Alabama, so he kind of has, like, that regional, like, buff, right? Like, hometown buff.
On May 3rd, 1987, Bobby Allison came inches away from becoming one with the fans.
One of the real
Oh, we have a problem. Bobby Allison with a horrible crash here on the front stretch. It has torn out a complete section of protective railing.
What do they do with the other racers when there's a crash like this? Like, do they move the car really fast and they keep racing, or do they call it? I don't remember from the last time. Oh, that's when the pace car! Look, we learned a lot! Oh, and red flag. Okay, so if the race is stopped, do they have to restart, or do they, like, get back in the position that they were? How does that happen? How do they get everybody back to where they were? Oh. And they all go to the pits. Okay. For that, red, probably, yeah. Rolling start, same positions. Oh. Okay.
After a mechanical failure sent his car spinning down the tri-oval, Bobby Allison found himself at the center of the most frightening near miss in NASCAR history. The Talladega pace had become so fast that even a slight aberration was enough to transform any of the 40 vehicles on track into a 2-ton projectile.
Dude, that is so scary. Like, for the driver and also the spectators, because if that went a little higher, that would have just launched into all of them.
Just as everyone was starting to forget about the Talladega curse, the track would produce an incident so ominous that it would fundamentally alter the future of stock car racing. One may consider it benevolent of the curse to spare everyone on the
I looked up, saw the car coming, and ducked. The cables did their job, or the car would have come right into the stands. Oh my god.
That day. But the story of Talladega's most dangerous race doesn't end here. Following Bobby Allison's
that's hard to watch.
The fastest field in NASCAR history would be conquered by the heir to the Allison throne, Davey Allison, who scored his first career victory on the same day that his father cheated death.
Wow.
6 years later, fate would repay the favor.
A sad note in sports today. Stock car racer Davey Allison died this morning after the helicopter he was piloting crashed yesterday in the infield of the Talladega Speedway down in Alabama.
What?
Davey Allison, a great champion and a good friend of ours, was 32.
He was 32?
Although his life and career were cut tragically short, Davey Allison's legacy will always be etched in the 1987 Winston 500, possibly the most influential single race in NASCAR history. Bill
I'm not 32. No, somebody said Barry's age. I'm 28.
Elliott would become the last NASCAR driver to ever reach the 212 mark. After this race,
this is the plates.
superspeedways entered the age of the restrictor plate.
Yeah, I knew about
A new
that.
component to the intake manifold designed to limit horsepower and keep speeds under 200 miles per hour. This thin metal plate would completely change the game.
Can you imagine that? That little piece of Swiss cheese changed everything. How did they even know to put that there?
And spawn a form of racing so sensationally unique that no other motorsport in the world even comes close to replicating it. Plate racing takes traditional racing technique and turns it on its head. It's a format that can allow the 30th place car to be within 2 seconds of the leader, featuring lap after lap of 3 wide traffic. Rather than raw driving ability, winning a restrictor plate race relies on the driver's patience, timing, and decision making.
That is so crazy how close they get up in everybody's butt. Like, that is really dangerous because then what if there's an accident and there's like a pile of 30 cars that are all just gonna run into each other?
Compared to the spectacular displays of speed in the past, Talladega racing would now resemble a high-velocity game of chess. Restrictor plates would usher in a new era of NASCAR, and along with it, a new era of mayhem.
Jesus!
Oh, not what you want to see out of your windshield. Oh my God!
Holy crap!
While plate racing was intended to make the sport safer, superspeedways arguably became more treacherous than ever before. The frequency of wrecks skyrocketed as drivers now had far less margin for error in the close quarters traffic. With so many opportunities for calamity, the drivers would start discovering inconceivable methods to wreck a race car. Talladega had always been a place that pushed the limits of what was possible on a NASCAR track.
Yeah.
And the early 90s saw a remarkable string of accidents where drivers would test the literal limits of the track.
Really?
The 1993 Die Hard 500 was NASCAR's first race at Talladega after the death of Davey Allison. The event would be remembered most for 2 harrowing incidents. On lap 69.
I'm sorry. Get it out of your system. I know somebody in chat's gonna say nice. Get it out, get it out. Yep, there we go. Yep. Get it out of your system. Yep, knew that was coming.
Rookie driver Stanley Smith would suffer a head-on collision into the Turn 1 wall.
Oh my
The
God!
accident eerily occurred in the same part of the track as Larry Smith's fatal crash almost 20 years to the day after the tragedy. Stanley Smith would manage to survive, but with catastrophic injuries that would end his racing career entirely.
Dude, if you fracture your skull, what do they do? Like, I don't know if this is like scientifically proven, but do they like 3D print you a new piece? How do you fix somebody's skull? They just glue it back together? Elmer's? Oh, a metal plate. Oh. Or duct tape? No, I don't think they use duct tape.
However, despite involving a driver nearly losing his life, this accident is most well known for something that had not happened in a NASCAR race in a quarter century.
Whoa.
There is one car that has gone over the wall, as you see in that. I can't remember the last time we saw a car out of a speedway.
Oh my God!
Jimmy Horton's number 32 Chevy had left the racetrack. The accident compelled NASCAR to install a catch fence in the Talladega corners. The new enclosure would come in handy just 3 years later.
Guys, I'm not trying to be like a goofball, and I'm not saying I'm smarter than everybody in the entire world, but was that not something that should have already been done? Like, you saw how much they fly. There could be an accident anywhere. Why did we do it now?
As it prevented Ricky Craven's car from also exiting the circuit in a similar crash. However, back in the 93 Die Hard 500, the mayhem was only half over. On lap 132, Neil Bonnett's car was sent tumbling into the tri-oval catch fence.
Oh my
Thankfully,
God.
after Bobby Allison's accident, NASCAR had strongly reinforced the line between the spectators and the action, narrowly escaping yet another tragedy. While it came very close, this Die Hard 500 did not live up to its moniker. The event would go on to be remembered as the race where cars seemingly refused to stay inside the track. The next time the
I also have another question. Does weather affect this kind of stuff a lot? Like maybe like the wind or like, because if your car's flying, then I feel like wind speed could definitely make your car like more projectile. Or like, what happens if it rains? What do they do with rain? Do they quit? Like, do they stop the race? Oh, NASCAR can't race on ovals in the rain. Oh. Okay.
Cup Series returned to Talladega, seemingly refused to stay inside the track. The next time the Cup Series returned to Talladega, Mark Martin would discover the true meaning of going inside the track.
Oh!
Once again, NASCAR would have to make some modifications. Talladega has the strange ability to send cars in seemingly any direction. In a few cases, that direction would be up.
Is he going to win the Winston 500? They come through the tri-oval. Checkered is waving. Ernie Evans wins and Rusty spins and gets airborne.
The blowovers.
Okay, I have a technical question. Can you still win if you're mid-crash? Like, let's say you crash and you were in first and then you fly in the air all the way over the line. Can you win? It's happened before? No shot? Wait, really? As long as you cross the finish line. Whoa.
One of the most ethereal moments that any racing fan can witness. We all know cars as some of the heaviest objects we interact with on a regular basis. Most of us would have to use all of our strength to get them to budge a single inch.
Yeah, that's
and to
crazy.
think that something as light as air could be powerful enough to lift a 2-ton machine off the
Yeah.
earth. Well, you just have to
It's
see
up
it
and
to
down.
believe it. At the speeds NASCAR drivers travel at Talladega, it
Pikachu
happens
car!
more often than you guess.
Well, Daryl, a 737 will, of course, it's designed to take off, but it will take off at, what, 160 some miles an hour. These cars are running 185, and the roof flaps do their job to keep that car from getting way up in the air. Wow.
Man.
In
Hey, this is the year before I
1996,
was
the
born!
Talladega curse finally caught up to Bill Elliott, who
Oh my
suffered
God.
a broken leg after his car soared across the backstretch grass.
Dude, and I'm not saying that anybody should break a leg, but, like, isn't it crazy that they fly that far and they just get a broken leg? Like, if this happened in, like, on the highway, you would just be dieted. That's crazy. The car protects them. Is this like the roll cages and, seat belts? Do they have, like, a bunch of, I don't know, actually. Do they have, what is it when it shoots the marshmallows at you? Why did I just forget the name of it? When you get shot with the marshmallows? Yes, airbag. Yeah, they have airbags or no? No airbags. Okay, so it's just roll cages? And why can't average Americans have a roll cage in their car? Like, is it just expensive or is it, like, annoying? You can? Oh. It's cost. Okay. Huh. Interesting. And it makes your car heavier. Oh.
But the most spectacular blowover in Talladega history belongs to a different Elliott.
Elliott Sadler over once and a half and on his roof.
In
What?
2003,
He did a flip!
Elliott Sadler would get over a full second of airtime as his car executed
Oh
a near
my
flawless
God.
pirouette. The number 38 M&M's Ford must have covered the length of a football field without touching the ground. The following season, Sadler returned to Talladega and inexplicably became the only driver in history to blow over at the same track 2 years in a row. This time finishing the race in style.
He said he wanted to finish this race with all 4 tires on the ground. He did. But he just didn't keep them there the whole time.
Uh-oh, wait, why is there an ominous wind?
It's one thing to watch a blowover as a spectator, but to experience one from inside a race car is a sensation most of us can only imagine.
Does it feel like zero gravity? Has anybody ever described what it's like to flip in a car?
A NASCAR engine can roar as loud as 140 decibels,
Jeez,
but in
it's
an
loud?
airborne car, many drivers report a brief moment when everything falls silent.
Whoa.
At the instant in which the mighty racing machine is
like
briefly wrestled
space.
away from the dominion of gravity, it's as if the driver has entered the window to another realm.
Whoa.
Do you think that if they listened hard enough, they would hear the faint thumping of horses galloping on the Alabama clay? Of course, in moments like these, most drivers have other things to worry about.
That was cinematic.
Oh, goes the 18! The 62 upside down!
Ever since Bobby Allison's accident, NASCAR has been continually trying to eliminate the blowover.
Really?
But try as they might, Talladega has always found a way to send cars flying.
Yeah, this just seems like you're going so fast. Like, how do you counteract that? And then you have to think about, like, weather conditions like we were talking about earlier. There's just, like, so many factors that I have no idea how you could, like, cancel that. Actually, what if they did do the magnets? What if every car had magnets on the wheels and then the wheels would magnetically stay on the ground? Okay, that doesn't make any sense. Because how go if stuck? I don't know. There were magnets. How do they work? Oh my god. Ugh.
While more blowovers happen at Talladega than anywhere else, the track's most iconic accidents are of a far different breed. Ever since restrictor plates introduced the age of pack racing, there's been a monster lurking in every superspeedway race. It's the reason why most drivers, teams, and owners dread Talladega Sunday.
Oh, it's every Sunday?
Kyle caught up the field, accordion's back.
Whoa, man.
Oh my god! This is really scary. It's literally just like a hallway full of kids walking to class. Okay, that was like not even a good metaphor, but there's way too many people here.
Trouble, Stewart in the wall.
Here we go. Here we go.
And yep, there is.
33, Harvick is around.
Here we go, guys.
Oh my god.
They call it the Big One, a massive pileup that can wipe out more than a dozen cars in the blink of an eye.
Whoa.
Talladega may have the
And then what happens? Like, there's like maybe 5 racers left? And then they all race, just the 5 of them? Or does it get canceled if that many people, like, just crash into each other? Because that's like basically everybody. The race goes on. Whoa, they finish it.
most room of any.
Do people have backup cars? Like, if your car gets in an accident, can you have, like, a backup? No? Okay.
NASCAR track, but when the big one strikes, drivers often find themselves with nowhere to go. It can happen anywhere at any time. All it takes is for one driver to make one mistake. It's as simple as someone mistiming a block, sticking their nose in a gap too small, or inexplicably rejoining the pack at half speed.
And it's crazy because if the races are this close, then people are going to keep taking chances because they want to win, and you have to try to capitalize on every small movement.
Whatever the cause, the
So it's gonna cause more
remains the
accidents.
same. Multiple drivers' days are ended by something they had no way of preventing. Modern-day NASCAR fields race with around 40 cars. Throughout the 90s, it was not uncommon for the big one to involve 10 or more cars, about a quarter of the field.
Wow.
By the 2000s, the accidents started to become truly enormous. The
Jeez.
2002, 2003, and 2005 Talladega spring races each saw a pileup involving more than 20 drivers.
Oh
with
my
the
God.
03 race consuming a Cup Series record 27 cars.
27?
However, the largest wreck in modern NASCAR history.
Basically, if you get first, you got a bye round. You're racing against, like, what, 2 other people?
Would happen at a Talladega race in what is now the NASCAR Xfinity Series. The division is essentially NASCAR's minor league, and in the 2002 Aaron's 312, inexperience would contribute to the mother of all pileups.
Uh-oh.
On lap 14, Johnny Sauter's blue Chevy slid sideways and started tumbling in front of the entire field. Drivers began swerving into each other to avoid the carnage and quickly block the track. When it was all said and done, 31 cars were collected, nearly 3/4 of the entire field. Out of the few survivors, most would fall off the pace with mechanical issues. The race eventually boiled down to just 2 competitive cars.
Jeez,
a
1v1?
scenario that may never occur in another NASCAR race. While Talladega
I'm gonna be honest, 1v1 might actually be kind of fun to watch because then you only have to pay attention to 2 cars.
races have increasingly turned into wreckfests, it's curious to consider that when it so desires, NASCAR's most feared track is capable of leaving everyone unscathed. The 1997 Winston 500 was the first race in Talladega history to run caution-free. After crashing into the infield just 3 years prior, Mark Martin would break Bill Elliott's record for the fastest NASCAR race, completing 500 miles in 2 hours and 39 minutes.
Whoa.
In the following 5 seasons, 2 more Talladega races would run caution-free. As of now, it's the last track in NASCAR history to ever achieve this feat.
What?
It really makes you wonder, does Talladega create the mayhem, or do we?
Ooh.
We saw a lot of communication on that restart of that first initial start with the Stewart-Haas teams all working together to get in line on the front. You see them. They're pulling away, Jeff.
Let's show you how
I'm scared.
far this first group of Stewart-Haas Racing has driven
I'm really
away.
scared.
When everyone chooses to cooperate, we are capable of achieving remarkable things. In an ideal world, we could do anything caution-free.
True.
But there's a reason why idealism is so hopelessly fragile.
Greed.
While it takes everyone to avoid destruction, it only takes one to create it.
Yeah.
As is the case with most things in America.
I think about that sometimes. We all have free will. I could literally go outside, punch somebody right in the face on the street, and yeah, guess what? I could go to jail. But they already got punched, and I made that decision. And they can't stop me because they don't know what I'm thinking. So I still did the action.
The best you can do is survive.
What you got ain't nothing new. This country's hard on people. You can't stop what's coming.
How is it that when we find ourselves in the biggest place we've ever...
I did not mean to dance to that. I was dancing to the music, I swear to God. I swear to God, I was dancing to the music.
known, we still run out of room.
That was diabolical that he
Americans
put
have
that
always been
banger right there.
infatuated with the concept of manifest destiny.
That
the
was
19th century
diabolical.
ideal that the United States should inevitably span from sea to shining sea. This grand vision of America was eventually realized at tremendous expense to those who originally roamed those lands. Even now, as we sit atop our New York skyscrapers and California mansions, manifest destiny is still very much alive. We apply it to what we wear, what we drive, how we conduct business.
I have never and will never own designer clothes. I'm too poor, and also I don't see the point. And I know this is not going to go over well because this is a car video, but I will never own an expensive car just because I cannot drive that fast anyway, and I live in Florida, so it would probably get exploded anyway on the highway. And I would never own an extremely expensive house because the property tax, and that's more space to clean. I can't even clean my own room.
Enough is never enough.
Expensive car. Like, I would never own, like, a Bugatti. Like, that is so much money. Is my mocap suit considered designer? I don't know, actually. I honestly only ever really spend money on stuff for stream. I think I need a hobby. I think I need something to do.
There, what we drive, how we conduct business. Enough is never enough. We are always marching forward to some glorious, indeterminate outcome. Why stop at building the biggest racetrack in the world when you can build one even bigger, steeper, wider, and faster? Our conquest for more never ends.
That is true.
Some call it greed. Others call it destiny.
Wow, that was actually really deep.
The driver's strike at Talladega's inaugural contest gave many others a unique opportunity to race in the Cup Series. One of those newcomers was a 23-year-old Richard Childress, who would use the prize money from his big break to open up his own racing team.
Whoa.
In 1981, Childress retired from racing.
You guys approve of the sound? Is it bad? Wait, does it sound bad? You can be honest. Does it sound like shit? Also, Farbooty said his hobby is masturbation. Good for you.
And handed over the team. In 1981, Childress retired from racing and handed over the reins of his number 3 car to NASCAR's newest champion, a driver by the name of Dale Earnhardt.
We watched this video!
With Richard Childress racing, Earnhardt would go on to win 6 of his 7 Cup championships, and the Childress number 3 would become the most iconic stock car of the 20th century.
Wow.
Earnhardt's career will always be most intertwined with Daytona, but one of his most impressive feats was coming the closest of anyone to conquering Talladega. Despite hating restrictor plate racing more so than any other driver, Earnhardt was undeniably the best at it.
You know, when we watched this video, I was wondering how so many people found the react. I think it was posted on Reddit, and somebody posted my thumbnail, and they were like, "What is this thumbnail?" Because it was like anime girl next to like public NASCAR video. I saw the Reddit post.
He was so skilled at drafting that some competitors swore that he could literally see the air coming off the cars. In October 2000, Talladega would be the site of his final career victory. In possibly the most impressive display of racing mastery the sport had ever seen, Earnhardt would charge from 17th to 1st in the final laps to become a 10-time Talladega winner.
That's
by
crazy!
far the most of any driver. He may have won even more, but well, you know what tends to happen when someone comes close to conquering Talladega.
This is undoubtedly one of the toughest announcements that I've ever personally had to make. But after the accident in turn 4 at the end of the Daytona 500, we've lost Dale Earnhardt.
This is so sad.
The white flag is up. Final lap at Talladega. Who's it going to be? Labonte, Earnhardt Jr., Stewart, or maybe somebody out of the pack? Look at this move by Jr. at the white flag.
After suffering such terrible loss, the Talladega spirits would shine favorably on Dale Earnhardt Jr., who would immediately carry on his father's legacy. 1 year after Dale Sr.'s final victory, Dale Jr. would score his first Talladega victory, one of 4 wins in a row at the track for the new Pied Piper of superspeedway racing.
If I remember the lore correctly, you guys can totally correct me, but wasn't it like Dale's dad never got to see him win? And like the same thing happened to his son. Dude, that's what made me cry. Like, that is so sad.
Racing. Dale Jr.'s remarkable success on NASCAR's biggest stage would make him an instant fan favorite. The newest racing superstar would carry both Talladega and the sport into its present-day incarnation.
Hey, Ricky Bobby. Good to see you again.
Ricky Bobby, I didn't think he was real!
Oh, no, man. You said that was a gift. You're a dirty liar.
By now, Talladega had become so infamous in pop culture that someone was bound to make a movie about it.
This is the only thing I ever knew about NASCAR before we watched the videos. I'm so sorry.
2006 saw the release of the Will Ferrell comedy Talladega Nights, a film that features a winless driver growing resentful of his more successful teammate.
Oh, so he's like evil Haru Urara.
Strangely enough, in NASCAR's first race at Talladega after the film's release, a near-identical storyline would play out in reality. Back in the 2006 Daytona 500, Brian Vickers is leading with just 15 laps to go and has a chance to score his first career victory in the biggest race of the year. Unfortunately for Brian, his teammate Jimmy Johnson passes him and goes on to win instead.
Okay, guys, I might be hungry. But did Jimmy Johnson make Jimmy John's? I don't know. No, okay, no.
2 months later at the spring Talladega race, Vickers once again has an opportunity to get his first win.
Now, will Vickers be the good soldier and follow Jeff Gordon home, or does he want his first win that bad? He's got to get his first win.
He takes the lead with just 2 laps to go, only to get passed once again by Jimmy Johnson. Later in the year, the Hendrick teammates returned to Talladega to find themselves nose to tail behind Dale Jr. in the closing laps. Both Johnson and Jr. are in a tight championship battle, and it's up to Vickers to help his teammate complete the pass for the win.
Amelia?
What happened next wasn't exactly a shake and bake.
And takes out Earnhardt and Jimmy Johnson.
Oh my God!
Talladega has always been known for its sensational finishes. Since 1980, about a third of all Talladega races have ended in a last lap pass.
Really?
Such a scenario is portrayed to great effect in Talladega Nights, which makes use of the track's most distinct feature. While most tracks are designed with the finish line in the center of the front straightaway, Talladega's is about 1,000 feet farther down the track towards the entrance of Turn 1.
Okay, I'm gonna actually have a little bit of a conspiracy theory. Okay, maybe not. Do you think that they want these crazy finishes and maybe they go up to somebody and they're like, hey, I'll throw you $1 million if you run into that guy right at the end. Cash. Right here.
While it may seem like a small alteration, this unique design aspect has affected the outcomes of countless races. It's amazing what can happen if you leave someone with just a little more room to run. The name Seminole can be traced back to the Spanish word cimarron, or runaway. They were a tribe composed of wildly different people who all shared a single unifying vision, a refusal to be conquered. The Seminole warriors fought valiantly. They pushed the US military to the most challenging and expensive conflict with any indigenous group in the nation's history. However, eventually, the Seminole losses had become catastrophic, and they simply couldn't outlast the overwhelming resources of the United States. One by one, the Seminole chiefs were captured and forced to surrender. By 1843, nearly the entire Seminole tribe were forcibly relocated to the Creek Reservation in Oklahoma. Only a small fraction managed to evade government capture by fleeing into the Everglades.
Really? Dude, that is like a super hardcore PvE zone. My God, that must not have been a good place to live at all.
Of swampy wilderness considered by American settlers to be inhospitable.
Yeah.
After nearly a decade of costly fighting, the military decided that further pursuit was no longer worth the trouble. By the end of the war, as few as 100 Seminoles remained, the last of the runaways. Throughout the rest of the 19th century, all of the other indigenous people in America would be forced to submit to government rule.
Dang.
Eventually, the Everglades Seminoles would remain as the last free tribe within U.S. territory. Despite all of their power and might, America could never conquer the Seminole people. There are some things in this world that you simply cannot control.
Dang. Dude! This video is actually insane. Like, my God, this is like one of the greatest scripts I have ever seen in a video.
Since its very first race, NASCAR has always struggled to control Talladega. The track has served as the ultimate fulcrum for the sport's greatest conflict of interest.
I like the OST here.
By creating the world's most spectacular track, they simultaneously created the world's most dangerous track. NASCAR has always straddled the fine line between entertainment and safety.
Yeah.
Throughout the history of the track.
Yeah, that seems like a difficult thing to, I guess, moderate because people, like it or not, like the danger, right? They're like, dang, like, I wonder, not saying everybody's like this. There's probably people out there who are like, oh, I wonder if there's going to be a crash. You know what I mean? And it's horrible, but that's just like the human mind, right? So if you make things too safe and people are driving like 20 miles an hour, then nobody's going to go. But you still want people to be safe and not die and not get hurt. So it's like they're constantly like going back and forth trying to make it so that it's fun to watch, but also nobody's just like having their car explode.
The sanctioning body has been in a constant balancing act in trying to prevent the next Talladega catastrophe while maintaining the track's unique appeal.
Yeah.
The continual addition of rules and regulations has resulted in a style of racing that looks completely unrecognizable to the sport's humble beginnings.
Yeah.
And I mean, guys were slamming into one another, they're hitting each other in the corner. Eventually, just what happened is going to happen. It's going to happen again, too, probably before the day's over.
Many drivers today feel that Talladega racing is a glorified crapshoot, which is somewhat emblematic of modern NASCAR as a whole.
You know, look, these championships aren't like winning like Petty and Earnhardt used to win them. And, you know, it comes down to one race, and it came down to one race for us tonight and came up short.
How far are we willing to compromise the merit of competition to manufacture a more entertaining spectator product? NASCAR is always trying to tweak the sport to make
NASCAR will reduce cars to just 550 HP at half of its Cup Series races next year.
Make races more exciting. But there comes a point where all the micromanagement becomes counterproductive.
Yeah, it's starting to feel like Corpo, right? Like, it's the only way I can explain it. Like, nobody likes when something was fun, and then it just feels like, oh, I'm a product and you just want my money.
It's idiotic to be out here doing this anyway. Trying to put on some cute show for whatever the hell this is. It's stupid. There's no sense in doing this.
Get 'em!
One of the most defining aspects of present-day Talladega has been the looming threat of controversy, where NASCAR's contrived bureaucracy ends up spoiling the race itself. In 2003, NASCAR would end its policy of allowing drivers to race back to the caution flag, as the practice was becoming too dangerous. Instead, the field would be frozen at the moment of caution, a change that would reach a breaking point the next spring at Talladega. When the caution came out with 5 laps to go, fans were thrilled as Dale Jr. appeared to make the pass for the lead. However, the lead was instead awarded to Jeff Gordon, as he was slightly ahead at the exact moment of caution. The race would not...
Oh, okay. So, like, right when the moment happened, that's the pause. Instead of, like, you know, everybody's still racing after that because they don't know that there's a caution. So then it was like all the effort they put in right after that didn't even matter. They basically just, like, want to reset and go all the way back.
Not be restarted, as Gordon would coast to a very unpopular win, as frustrated fans pelted the track with debris. NASCAR would later institute the green-white checker rule to minimize the chances of races ending under caution, a policy that has since undergone numerous confusing and inconsistent changes over the years. One of the most baffling officiating decisions for any NASCAR finish happened at the 2016 Xfinity Series race at Talladega.
Close today.
At first, it looked to be an amazing feel-good story with underdog driver Brennan Poole threading the needle to score his first NASCAR win.
Whoa.
However, in an unprecedented reversal, NASCAR would award the victory instead to Elliott Sadler. The officials had bizarrely frozen the field less than 1,000 feet from the finish line, and in that instant, Sadler's car was briefly in the lead, despite being in the process of crashing. To this day, Brennan Poole is still searching for his first win.
That is so sad, because I think we saw earlier in the video, a lot of people only have like one win pretty much max, right? So, like, that was his moment. And now he basically has to go for 2 wins, which is kind of hard, right?
And by that much, Elliott Sadler, a winner over Brennan Poole at Talladega.
Not even NASCAR's biggest stars can avoid the jinx of Talladega controversy.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. looking for his 5th win at Talladega.
Later in the 04 season, Dale Jr. would avenge his dubious runner-up finish by winning the fall Talladega race.
Dude, that would be so fun, though, to just go in the middle and just start doing donuts. Just tearing that up.
Only to once again wind up at odds with the sanctioning body.
Oh,
in his victory
the moderators.
Junior would drop an expletive on live TV.
Wait, so it's like the NASCAR corporal people, are they like Reddit mods? Do they just like the power and they like exploit it?
What does it mean to win here, not only once, but to win here 5 times?
Well, it don't mean shit right now. Daddy's done won here 10 times, so...
A mistake that would normally be a non-issue.
I'm gonna be honest, like, there's some words that I don't think are that bad. Like, just saying, like, oh shit, like, that's just kind of like a word, right? But I'm not gonna be on TV being like, oh, you bitch, oh. I messed up the bleep, I'm sorry. It's really hard to, like, mute yourself while you're talking.
But it just so happened that this was the year of Janet Jackson's wardrobe malfunction at the Super Bowl, and networks at the time were hyper-vigilant at maintaining their standards and practices.
You know what? I'm not gonna say they're hyper-vigilant about standards. They don't want to lose the advertisers, man. Everything's always just comes back to money!
As a result, Junior would be docked 25 driver points, which knocked him out of the championship lead.
Wait, so is driver points like your LP? So maybe if you run out of LP, you go to the Shadow Realm? Oh, okay, I see.
2004 was the best season of Junior's career, and he may very well have won the title if all of us weren't so sensitive over a 4-letter word.
So the chase for the championship is over, and here's how it ended up.
How many people in the stands there say shit? Like, be honest with yourself.
2004 also marked the beginning of NASCAR's chase for the Cup, which eventually morphed into what we now know as the controversial NASCAR playoffs. The 2014-16 incarnation of the playoffs was very likely the most busted and unfair championship format in the history of motorsports.
Really?
In October 2015, the system would be painfully exposed at where else but Talladega. This era decided to make Talladega a cutoff race for the next round, meaning that some drivers would be forced to do whatever they could to avoid elimination. On the final restart, Kevin Harvick has a serious mechanical issue. He can barely keep up at pace car speed and is practically guaranteed to get eliminated.
Not the Outback
unless he does something dire. So, with no other conceivable way to save his season, Harvick swerves into the car beside him and causes a 10-car pileup.
Holy! Dude, you can't just run into people! This is like I told you earlier, where you just go out and punch people in the face! You already did it! They can't stop you!
The caution comes out, Harvick coasts to the finish line and advances to the next round in quite possibly the worst NASCAR finish in the past decade.
You don't get in trouble for griefing? You're allowed to just run it down mid? And nobody says anything? No? Yes? Oh my god! It depends? Oh, hell nah.
You can hardly blame a guy for doing it. He's either going to make it if he does that and wreck some people going slow, or he's not going to make it if it goes green for 2 laps. But I don't know. It just feels like we kind of lost control on the situation.
You know, look, these championships aren't like winning like Petty and Earnhardt used to win them.
Modern-day NASCAR is always throwing curveballs, and drivers will adapt to do whatever gets them closer to winning.
Yeah.
One of the most peculiar changes in superspeedway strategy was the brief rise of tandem drafting. Following the release of NASCAR's Car of Tomorrow, drivers began to realize that the flat-nosed design allowed the cars to lock bumpers at tracks like Talladega and gain an extra boost in speed.
Wait, so they can just pull you? You can get uppies?
The tandem era would truly begin at the 2010
It's toxic Talladega Yowie.
Aaron's 499, a race that saw a record 88 lead changes. By the next season, drivers had mastered the tandem, leading to one of the most unbelievable finishes of all time.
Everybody grab a buddy.
3 wide, 3 by 3 to the line.
I only know 4x4.
Maybe Jimmy Johnson.
In a mad dash to the finish line with 8 cars under a blanket,
Wow.
Jimmy Johnson would edge out the win by 2 1/1000ths of a second, tied for the closest finish in NASCAR history.
Look at how close that is. See, this was my question earlier. Back in the day, how would they, like, know that it was this close? Do they just, like, guess?
However, during its brief stint, tandem drafting represented too extreme of a departure from what audiences were used to.
Oh, they still had cameras. I think racing started in, like, 1652.
And NASCAR would eliminate the strategy in the following season. While tandem drafting was relatively unpopular in its time, many fans today look back on the era fondly. What has never been viewed fondly is the single most despised policy that NASCAR has ever implemented.
I'm gonna take a guess. They said that everybody has to drive backwards.
The yellow line rule.
That was my next guess. That was my next
But
guess.
they're telling me that they're going to drop you back to 21st for dropping under the yellow line. I went underneath Sterling, right? I was underneath him. He turned left. What the hell was I going to do? He run me in the yellow line. So I finished 5th today. I know that. So hell, whatever the hell they want to do.
Wait.
Dale
What?
Earnhardt convinced NASCAR to implement a variety of new safety measures. Most of these ended up being extremely beneficial.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest.
A variety of new safety measures.
This one seems good. Like, this is a good idea. I mean, probably people needed this a long time ago.
Most of these ended up being extremely beneficial, but one change, the yellow line rule.
To be clear, as we go forward, there will be no passing under the yellow line at any time during NASCAR races at Daytona or Talladega, period. This includes any passing below the yellow line near the start or finish. Wait, they got like a yellow line that us civilians deal with every day? In a race? What? Could you like box people out too? And then they can't pass you if you have like too many people around you? Like, there's a lot of like, I don't know, like manipulation you could do here and use it to like win. Yeah.
Has plagued superspeedway races ever since.
Yeah.
In an attempt to reduce the number of accidents, NASCAR started penalizing drivers for passing on the apron of the straightaways, which they now marked as out of bounds with a double yellow line. Despite their good intentions, this change was a prime example of NASCAR trying to outsmart the room by adding a needlessly complicated judgment call to what was a self-policing issue.
Here comes Junior, he's got to run. Kenseth tried to close him off. Left the line. It's going to be borderline, guys. It's going to be borderline.
Boy, I don't know. That was a pass under the line. I don't know what we're going to see here.
Really?
It would be very unpopular to black flagging.
In 2003, Dale Jr. was not penalized on this pass for the
I was
win.
about to say.
5 years later, Regan Smith would not be so fortunate after he was forced below the line while passing Tony Stewart for the win.
Well, where else are you supposed to go? You just auto lose? You're not allowed to fight for, like, the win at all? You just have to throw?
Tony Stewart has won the race. Tony Stewart is the official winner here at Talladega.
Yeah, next they're gonna start adding blinkers. Sir, I'm gonna pass you on the left. Beep, 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 beep.
They would not allow that pass below the yellow line.
That's what I was going with. I got forced down there, man. I had a nose inside
Yeah,
of them,
no
and
choice.
I could have piled up the whole field, and I guess that would have been a cool.
So I have to choose between, like, killing people or losing. What?
Finish, I don't know, but I always got told that the rule is if you get forced down there, then you're the winner of the race.
Even as recently as last year, NASCAR still has seemingly no idea how to actually enforce the rule, as Denny Hamlin went way below the line on this pass for the win and wasn't penalized.
NASCAR has set the 11.
Oh, I see. So this is like a ref moment too. Like, you know when you're watching basketball and your team just keep losing and then you get mad at the ref, so it's like you kind of, this puts a lot of faith in like the people analyzing everything, right? And like some people are gonna have different decisions. It seems very inconsistent. Like it's not like a die-hard rule. It's just like if I feel like enforcing this, yeah. If I enforce it when I feel like it, it's RNG.
Since its inception, countless great moments have been tainted by the perpetual asterisk which the yellow line rule creates. And the worst part is, there's no evidence to suggest that the rule has had any effect on its intended purpose of preventing accidents. If anything, the rule has contributed to an increase in accidents, as it effectively constricts more cars within a narrower space.
I think this video is a little bit older. Wait, when is it? 4 years ago? Do they still have this now? Like, is there still a yellow line on, like, most of the tracks? Yes? Huh.
Yeah, I got a great idea for everybody. How about we just get rid of the yellow line rule? Nobody really wants to see the races come down to these type of decisions, and I don't think it's going to crash more cars than we crashed today.
Recent races at Talladega have been about as close as you can get to a demolition derby. It's not uncommon these days for a race to end with less than a dozen cars limping across the finish line.
It happens that often?
Over the past 2 decades, NASCAR has made incredible strides in safety. An unintended consequence.
Blooming, thank you! Can we get a creepy in the chat for Blooming? Thank you, thank you, thank you! I super appreciate it. I hope you enjoy your emotes. Hello, hello, hello.
Decades, NASCAR has made incredible strides in safety. An unintended consequence of which was ushering in a new generation of drivers who no longer fear accidents. Back in the day, drivers were forced to use restraint on the track because the consequence of wrecking would be potentially inflicting serious injury on yourself or others. Today, drivers are mostly free to take unthinkable risks on track and walk away from any mayhem completely unharmed.
Okay, here's another conspiracy theory. Do we think the Corvo people like that because then they like can perpetuate very big accidents that people are gonna watch and be like, oh my god, that car flipped like 500 times and then flipped on top of 500 other cars and then everybody like couldn't race anymore. And then be like, that was awesome. And then nobody gets hurt. So then they can be like, oh yeah, well, look, we had like a show for everyone.
Twice a year now, drivers start a race at Talladega knowing that they most likely won't make it to the finish.
Sorry we couldn't crash more cars today. We didn't fill the quota for today for Talladega and NASCAR. If we haven't crashed at least 50% of the field by the end of the race, we need to extend the race till we at least crash 50% of the cars.
Jeez!
This is Talladega, and
how expensive are these cars? I'm just wondering, like, they're crashing a lot. Like, are they made of Legos? They just put them back together?
This is the Talladega curse. All the way back in 1969, we didn't just construct a racetrack. We constructed a monument to mankind's arrogance.
Actually, I want to know. Here, I'm just going to do a quick Google. Average price of NASCAR car. Oh my god! Between between $280,000 to $344,000? Wait, how are they crashing these all the time then? Are repairs not that expensive? Oh my God, how are they doing that? Sponsors. I forgot about the sponsorships. So M&M's got some big money. M&M's be dropping stacks on this. But they won't let me have a sexy green one? Really? F1 cars are more expensive. No shot. Wait. F1 average car price. The average price of a Formula One car is estimated between $12 and $20 million.
We created something that we can never truly conquer, so that we can spend eternity.
Dude, but that is kind of cool. If you think about it, it's just basically like paying an engineer to have fun. You know what I mean? You're like, okay, here's $20 million, just make something cool. That seems like very scientific. Like that just seems interesting to watch from the perspective of like manufacturing.
Chasing our endless desire for more. No matter how fast we follow them, all roads at Talladega eventually lead to destruction, misfortune, and controversy. The state of Alabama carries with it a hauntingly somber past. It has been the epicenter of some of the most unforgivable sins that we as a nation have ever committed. A history that's stained as red as the clay on which it all lies. And unlike clay, the mistakes of our past will never wash out.
Wow.
They follow us as painful echoes from a faraway time that's somehow still too close to us. We can never unhear them, but maybe if we get enough race cars together in one place, we can drown them out, even if it's just for a few hours at a time.
He cooked! Like, I'm actually in shock. Like, this is an amazing script.
The writer, the Southern writer, William Faulkner once put it, between grief and nothing, I will take grief.
Wow, because at least you feel something. Damn. I'm so sorry, advertisers, I said damn. Please do not suspend me or make me pay a $10,000 fine.
People always ask me why I watch NASCAR, why I enjoy something riddled with so many imperfections. And to that, I simply answer that we can design the perfect race car, but we can never design the perfect driver.
True.
Talladega may not be the greatest display of racing, but it is the greatest display of humanity. It's a racetrack where speed, skill, and machinery no longer matter. It's a venue that only seems to grow more prosperous through its legacy of disaster. It's a battleground where the mistakes of the few are destined to end the journeys of the many. The only place in all of racing that produces no winners, only survivors.
Damn.
I think Kyle's trying to cross the start-finish line, don't you think?
Yeah, I believe he is.
He wants to finish.
He's gonna do
it.
There it is.
You did it!
You go this far, you don't want to.
That's kind of wholesome.
Every year on NASCAR's schedule, there are 2 dates that I never forget to tune in.
Really?
When America's greatest drivers are confronted with the one track they fear most. In the land that America's native people once called home, 40 race cars are cursed to reenact their story.
How many tracks are there? I'm surprised it took me this long to ask. It's like no Talladega because we've been watching the video and we watched the other videos. How many are there that they have to race on? Like 5? A lot? 35? So they just like travel a lot? Huh.
That must be at least 30 cars in that wreck. God help all of them because there's no place to go.
Oh.
The Seminole bided
This
their
made me
time
cry.
in the Everglades for more than 100 years. They emerged in an America that had grown rich off the lands they had claimed long ago. An America that was now looking to move on from its centuries-long conquest. In 1957, the Seminole tribe was granted federal recognition by the U.S. government,
Whoa, I didn't know
extending
that.
them special privileges as a sovereign jurisdiction.
Huh.
By the 1970s, the Seminole had begun using these privileges to host high-stakes bingo halls, which would go on to be the very first Indian...
What? Wait! What? Wait, isn't this in
casinos. While most of the Seminole tribe gradually integrated into modern society, a small part would continue their traditional way of life in the Everglades. This group would go on to form a new tribe, known as the Miccosukee. In 2002, the Miccosukee tribe was looking to advertise their new casino and turn to the world of NASCAR.
Oh.
7 years later, the Miccosukee car would be the centerpiece.
Dude, how did this all come together? My mind is actually blown. I'm not even kidding you. Like, all of this came together in the end. And it was already good because it made sense separately because they were like parallel storylines that kind of mimicked each other. But then at the end, it all came back.
Of the most unbelievable
Holy
moment in
crap.
Talladega history. It's April 26, 2009. Americans are reeling from the struggles of the Great Recession. And on this Sunday afternoon,
Horrible Christmas
a
for
few
me.
of them turn on the NASCAR
That's all I remember. I was a kid.
Cup Series race at Talladega, hoping to witness something incredible. In this race, they see big pileups, close racing, and bizarre oddities that only Talladega can seem to produce. With just 2 laps left, the audience sees something truly unprecedented. The 99 car of Carl Edwards rockets into the lead and starts pulling away from the pack. He's being pushed by a car no one has paid any mind to all day, the Miccosukee car.
Okay, so I'm wondering, can this also be like a support play? Like you're getting pocket mercied? Is that basically what's happening? Yeah. I get it.
Driven by rookie Brad Keselowski. After 7 years in the sport, the Miccosukee team has never won a Cup Series race. Their best opportunity to do so is now resting on the shoulders of a driver making just his 5th career start.
Whoa.
Going into today, there's such long shots to win that odds makers didn't even bother listing them. However, with just 1 lap to go, the Miccosukee car has just 1 driver standing in its way of glory. The tandem are pursued by the Army and National Guard cars, but they're not going to catch him. Keselowski pushes Edwards to the home stretch.
No way.
He looks high, then he looks low, as Edwards
No, not
slows
the yellow
down to
line!
block. Keselowski is forced all the way down to the double yellow line.
Oh no.
He thinks about what happened to Regan Smith the year prior. He knows that if he goes below that line, it's game over. The Miccosukee car has been forced as far down as it can possibly run.
I'm gonna throw up.
It can go no further. It has been given no choice but to stand its ground.
Can Keselowski try to win it?
I don't think he can step out until he waits till the last.
What? Oh my God!
The front end.
No shot!
Edwards will not make it to the flag. Oh,
Brad Keselowski won this race.
Holy crap! Yo, he said out of the way! Oh my God! Wait. Imagine this. You gamba. I think there's probably gamba in this, right? Like people be gambling. Imagine you gambled on them to win just because you saw the odds. You are a gore billionaire. Holy crap.
Carl Edwards' car destroyed.
Not sure where Carl's going. Maybe he thinks if he runs across the start-finish line, it'll count.
Where's he going?
That's what he's doing.
I want to finish the race.
And he did. Standing ovation from the crowd. Shades of Ricky Bobby.
Dude, is this the thumbnail? I think. Is this the thumbnail of the video?
The funny thing about NASCAR is that if you watch long enough,
Dude, and it's at the end of the video too. Like, the thumbnail is basically him celebrating the win of the video. Like, to finishing and completing it.
everything always comes full circle.
Wow. This is the most amazing video I've ever seen. I'm not even kidding. Banana, dun, 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 dun. Holy crap! This was actually cinema! Wow! This was insane! I don't even know what to say! Yeah, clappy, clappy, clappy! Thank you, Iron Claw! This was nuts! Like, I literally can't believe it. This was amazing! And you guys are dancing to it over there. Holy crap. Like, one last round of applause. I kind of want to do a standing ovation, but my legs are going to break. So, thank you so much for watching. I super appreciate it. And please, please check out the original. This video was amazing. Like, go and like and love and subscribe and share how much you enjoyed it. This was one of the greatest videos I've actually ever seen in my life. I'm so sorry. I'm like glazing like Krispy Kreme. Also, remember to use code Berry at checkout for 10% off your gamer subs order. It helps me when they get a boo boo cup. I would super appreciate it. Have a great day. Goodbye, YouTube. Bye bye.